Football Manager has been delayed until March of 2025. Obviously have a lot of thoughts about this. Thank you guys for all the subs. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. I don't know what we're going to do now, man. Oh, man. This is unprecedented in Football Manager history. The game delayed. And let's be completely honest with ourselves. Let's be honest in this circle. There's no way that when they announced a release date in November 26th that game was ever going to be ready. There's no way. Zero chance. If they had come out and instead of releasing a roadmap and opening up pre-orders, and if they had come out and been like, you know what, Unity's kicking our ass, I'm going to need to push this back, that would have made more sense to me. But they tried to just, they're like, oh, we'll delay it by a week. Then we'll delay it by 4 more months. That's insane. That is insane. I have so many thoughts about what's going on that I need a different song. I've been in the sound of silence for too long. Give me a little Bruce, little Brucey baby, little Bruce Springsteen. I don't even know how to organize the thoughts that I have. First of all, there's only one reason they're releasing the game in March. It takes 3 brain cells, you rub them together, you start a fire. What's the reason the game's coming out in March? That's why. The boys aren't ready. Why do you think they picked March, bro? That's the fiscal year end for Sega. They're pushing it back as far as they possibly can, but Sega's in their ear like, hey, bro, we're going to kind of need you to release that game for a stock price. I'm assuming that's how the conversation went. Because they probably went to Sega. If I had to guess, I don't know any of this. If I had to guess, they probably went to Sega and they were like, hey, so game's not going to be ready. We're super cooked. That FM World Cup thing was kind of sick though, but we are super duper 51 shades of not ready to release this game this year. And Sega was like, tough titties. Game's got to come out. So here we are. Seriously, dude. That's why because everybody's like, oh, just don't release it until FM26. I guarantee you, if Miles was king of the world, if SI would do that. Because they know. Let's not pretend they don't know. Right? They know that releasing this statement is going to be a nightmare. Releasing this statement is going to be awful. They know that. You know? They freaking know that this is going to be awful. The only reason that you would go through this is if this was somehow your best option. So the first angle I wanted to talk about is they definitely don't want to release a game this year. The game they release in March, unless I am proven otherwise, is probably not going to be ready, right? Because it's literally being released up against the deadline of the fiscal year, which at the very least is a really inconvenient coincidence for Football Manager because it makes it look like they're rushing it out. Or they literally are rushing it out. But you know what? Nobody's actually, this isn't true. I haven't been able to read all my replies on Twitter, but I think I saw one person mention this. What happens with FM26, chat? Because normally you release the game in November and you leave a part of the team patching bugs, a little data update, and then the rest of the team moves on to the next game. But if you drop FM25 late in March, then you start working on FM26 in April. Which means one of two things. It's going to come out in November and it's going to be a reskin, basically. Or they're going to have to delay it to like February to try and get like actual new features in. FM25's the FM26 beta. Dude, that's so true. They've got to cancel it. Dude, they can't. They can't cancel the game. There's no way their corporate daddy Sega would let them. And I don't blame Sega. That's not Sega's fault. Sega, owns Sports Interactive. Sega being the Japanese game company. And Sega's sitting there like, yo, we pay all you guys to get a yearly sports game out. Sports Interactive is one of the larger properties that Sega owns. And then Sports Interactive turns around and goes, we might not be able to get it out this year. And they're sitting there like, what? SI's not EA? No, but SI is still owned by Sega. And Sega is going to get, Sega's getting the final say here, dude. Sega's getting the final say. I think when Football Manager 25 comes out in March, they're going to try and hype the hell out of it, right? And I think a lot of people will probably buy it. I think the delayed effect of them not making as much money off of this as they would hope is FM26. Because if they drop FM26 in November, you can't possibly convince me you've made a meaningful improvement to the game when you just spent a year and a half making FM25 and half a year making FM26. There's no way you're going to be able to convince me to buy that game. Why would they switch? Any possibility they switch the yearly release date? I would be stunned if they did that because the season's almost over. But they're going to have to work their way back to November, which means they're going to have to bite the bullet at some point. Yeah, I mean, the logical conclusion is you should sell Football Manager 26 at a cut rate price. That's the logical conclusion. Will that happen? I don't know. Galazzo, thank you for the 8 months. Because it's not going to be a fully developed game. It'd be like a DLC for FM25. It's like a big update. I mean, yeah, I'll buy it. Obviously, I'm going to get the game. Right? I'm just talking about whether you guys should. The question is never, is Zealand going to get Football Manager? That's not the question. That is not the question we're asking. But I think there's going to be a delayed effect here. FM25, there's going to be enough hype from the engine that even though it's like in a huge thing, that they're delaying it so much, I think a bunch of people will buy and play that game. Because it's the upgrade to Unity. I don't think they're going to see a huge hit in revenue there. I think they're going to see a huge hit in revenue the next year. Because there's no way that game, if they try to move it forward to November, there's no way that the uphill battle to try and convince me you've improved a game enough in 5 months or 6 months or whatever it's going to be. Yeah, to be fair, FM26 would be easier. Well, yeah. But you could just buy FM25 and then wait a year or two. And then you'll get an actually improved game. Yeah, dude, where was the roadmap tweet? I guess they had to unpin that. September 30th. Bro, what day is it? The 10th? That's 10 days. There's no way. Bro, in 10 days... This is like Fire Festival. There never was a game. There's no way in 10 days. What happened? Is this like the whole Toy Story thing where they accidentally deleted all of the stuff they'd been working on? They opened up pre-orders, announced a new logo, announced a roadmap for announcing the game. There never was any game. I mean, there is a game. Obviously, it's going to come out in March, or else Sega's just going to go after somebody. They stopped lying to themselves. You know, honestly, knowing how humanity works, that's probably true. They just stopped lying to themselves. Have we told you yet that there's women's football in the game? By the way, there's no game. We added women's football to the game that doesn't exist. Now, I legitimately think that they misled themselves. Like I said earlier, I feel like somebody was lying to somebody else, right? I feel like somebody who actually had knowledge of where the game state was at was lying about it or lying to themselves. You know what I mean? Like somebody, you know, we all know that type of person where the project hasn't even been started and they're like, yeah, it's almost done. And then somebody in the marketing department or Miles or whoever is like, hey, so we delay it a week. And they're like, you know, and they like peep behind the curtain and everything's on fire. And they're like, yeah, we'll delay it a week. That sounds good. We'll do that. Sounds great. We'll just delay it a week. I haven't even actually read the statement. You know, that's the funny thing. I just read that. So let me read the statement. After careful consideration, Sports Interactive have made the tough decision to further delay the release of Football Manager 25, following discussions with Sega. So I was bang on with that. Our licensors and partners, we have agreed the best course of action is to delay the launch until March 2025. Specific platform release dates will follow once confirmed. Oh, boy. In our last dev update in September, we explained that we needed to push FM25's original release date back to give ourselves more. I like how they don't say how far back they had to push it, because that was only a week. Trying to deliver the best possible experience for this first installment of the new era. Dude, March. March 'March. We're in October. March is so far away. Oh. No, I knew. It's just hitting me in new waves, you know? All right. The additional time has not been sufficient. Obviously, you gave yourself a week. Now you think the game won't be ready for... Oh, whatever. To ensure the game quality and experience meets your expectations and our very high standards. In the previous blog, we explained there's been a difficult development cycle for the studio. Many things have been moving slower than we had predicted, despite everyone in the team working at an incredible pace to try and get everything done. Timelines were already tight, and, as rightly pointed out by many of your recent comments, yo! Surge Byte saying for the 32 months, man. We were simply rushing too much and in danger of compromising. Sorry, I'll read that in a second. We were simply rushing too much and in danger of compromising our usual standards. This put an enormous amount of pressure on everyone working across the studio, who are all passionately committed to delivering the best possible game. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't relieve the pressure, though. This does not relieve the pressure at all. Am I going to be okay with winter coming? Yeah, dude. I'll be fine. I will be okay. If Football Manager collapsed tomorrow, I have Zealandism, I have the streams, and you know, a lot of the videos we make don't necessarily need like new football managers to be introduced. Really, just the tutorials wouldn't exist. I will be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about me. You know? I just appreciate you guys watching. OnlyFans is also always an option. There it is. OnlyFans is always an option. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Glad you're showing faith in me, you know? All right. Yeah, but they're going to be, dude, this is going to be the most high-pressure release of Football Manager they've ever done. FM25 is the biggest technical and visual advancement in the series for a generation. We simply cannot compromise the delivery of this crucial juncture in Football Manager's history by rushing to release in November. I'll add the extra sentence here. So instead, we're rushing to release in March because that's the end of Sega's fiscal year. On to the next paragraph. Of course, this is not where any of us expected to be 7 weeks out from release. I believe that. I don't believe they were actively scamming people. I don't believe this was like malicious and then they knew like the decision. I don't think the decision makers knew how not ready the game was when they announced the release date for November 26th. I don't think they knew. And then I think somebody peeled the curtain back and was like, look at it! Look at it! And they were like, oh, oops. Oopsily poopsily. In the spirit of our studio's values, we always consider the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here is that we need this additional time to deliver the game. Very well worded, actually. Shout out to the marketing team there. For the large number of you that have already pre-ordered the game, we thank you very much for your trust and support. That's a tough sentence. Given the delay, however, should you wish to claim a refund, please contact your real... Nice! Nice! Amidst the darkness, there is a candle. They're offering refunds for pre-orders. That's another indication that they did not do this maliciously. They just did this recklessly. Choose your poison. Marketing team sacked. Dude, the marketing team is probably the group that has the least reason to be sacked after all this. Something you noted is missing from our announcement on the 30th September was a mention of advanced access on PC and Mac. We can confirm advanced access will be available ahead of the new release date. Well, that's bold. All right. When we are confident in how long the period will be, we will update you first opportunity. The new gameplay reveal will also now move to the end of January. So they're going to start doing gameplay reveals the end of January. Bro, they're going to get cooked in every reply for like years because of this. Every single time they tweet something, there's just going to be a bunch of people in the replies like, can't wait to play this game after GTA 7 comes out. And in the meantime, Football Manager is just going to get cooked and 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 cooked. And it's going to get cooked some more, and it's going to get cooked some more, and then they're going to get cooked some more. There is going to be an unrelenting wave of pressure, right? On Football Manager, on Miles, on literally anybody that works there and in whatever part of the game they happen to be working on. There is going to be an unrelenting pressure on them until they get to March. And if the game that they release isn't great, then they're going to hear it. And the people are going to have a lot of ammunition for that. This is a significant betrayal of trust. I mean, Football Manager is always so anal retentive about, like, well, we haven't announced a game for next year, and, like, we haven't set a date for the game. They came out and set a date for the game and then blew past it. Right. Which is even weirder for them than for most people because they're always so tight to the vest about like, well, we don't quite know what we're going to do with the other game and everything. But there's really not much more information to go on. This is going to have a knock-on effect for the game for a couple of years in terms of the way the game is developed. And Football Manager just logistically, sometimes you just make a really bad decision. And, the roadmap's cooked. There's no way the roadmap's not cooked. Dude, there is no way the roadmap isn't cooked. Like, this roadmap, we're in the week of October 7th right now. This is a famous day in the history of Football Manager, and it is one that I believe all of us will not forget.